pretty grim.
It is, yeah.
People want to see the worst and they're willing to pay for it, obviously. Luckily, these reptiles are not really interested in humans.
Every year I have my birthday, I decided to build a house for a family.
Their waste facilities are somewhat lacking. Alcoholic, drug-taking, low-class people with no ambition. Well, as long as you've got people living like this, then the third world tag will always remain. Sorry to break the news. Well, there's a lot of shock value when you film videos in places like this. It's not pretty, and you're certainly going to see some grim scenes in this video. But I'm going to balance it out with the positive, the good side, the people who are making a difference around here. I'll be joining the guys from the Bangkok Community Help Foundation a little bit later on, and they're going to show us some of the projects they've been working on. So we're going to look around 4 communities in this video, and you're going to get a glimpse into what life is like in the slums of Khlong Toei. So we're starting at the Lock 456 community, Khlong Toei's biggest and oldest community. They were established around 1960 and have grown steadily through the decades to almost 100,000 residents. They've had their ups and downs over the years, but today it's a thriving community that's moving in the right direction. So these are the main streets around the Lock 456 community where people go shopping, eat, socialise, get their hair cut, go to the market, all that kind of thing. And then off to the left and the right, if you look carefully, you'll see all the little alleyways, and they're all numbered. Yek 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And I thought that is where we could do a bit of exploring. Well, I tell you what, these alleyways are featured in so many YouTube videos, but you'll never get familiar with them unless you've lived around here like for many, many years. It's so easy to get lost. I mean, I'm walking down this alleyway, you turn left and then right, and then it bends here and there, and before you know it, you've lost all sense of direction. I just gave up and kept walking and walking till I got here. But I must say one thing. Around every corner, where there's people, there's smiles, and they do make you feel really welcome here. I think the people are very resilient and accepting of what they have and where they are. I mean, there's no wallowing in self-pity. Conditions are not ideal. They're almost living on top of each other. But I think they deserve a lot better. In the early 1960s, the Khlong Toei community was not the so-called slum that it is today. Many people worked at the port and the area was a lot less dense. Khlong Toei port in those days was in its heyday, and the promise of work led to many people coming down from the northeast of Thailand and as far afield as Cambodia, Laos and Vietnam. This has led to many close-knit communities who call it home. It's a sad fact that people associate these types of communities with alcoholic, drug-taking, low-class people with no ambition, lots of social problems, high unemployment. But from what I've seen over the last few days, there's a lot of life around here, vibrancy, positivity, and most importantly of all, people who deserve a voice. So this is where I'm meeting Friso and Greg from the Bangkok Community Help Foundation, and they're going to show us some of the projects they've been doing in the last couple of months. And this is exciting because you're going to get to see the inner workings of how these foundations improve lives here in the slum communities. So straight up question, guys, how did it all start?
2020, April 8th. Friso and I have been friends for a while, but not real close friends. Now we're very close, but at that point we're just kind of more acquaintances. He tagged me on a post. He says, I have an idea that a lot of people are not out of, don't have food because they're out of work. And says, I like to have a kitchen to make dinner, for the people, right? And so that's how it started. We made, what was it that day? Green curry,
Green
right?
curry, yeah.
300 portions, handed it out around 11 o'clock. I show up at 4:30 in the morning with 50 kilos bags of rice, and the rest is history. But we saw so many people that needed the rice, and we were back the next day, and we gave them bags of rice rather than just for one meal. There was a big need. From one brain idea, it became an incredible adventure. This was the fire. Normally, in most communities, 50, 60 homes are destroyed when a fire because they're right next to each other. So look at this. It's remarkable that the fire stayed in one house. Any other time, this whole thing would have been on fire. And you can see the house was totally destroyed.
Jesus Christ.
Here you can see it from the tollway, the smoke. So it was really a large fire, but because we had given a lot of fire safety education, how to use the fire extinguishers, you can see some of the fire smoke still there. But what makes us feel really good is that we only have to rebuild one house. Normally in a situation like this, it'd be 50 or 60 homes that are being destroyed. You're talking 200, 300 people affected. But in this case, because they went and got the fire extinguishers that we bought, and they had utilized some of the donated fire hoses, brand new fire hoses with the fire pumps, this helped along with the fire education. All of that was a perfect storm, but in a positive way. And probably another 2 months, that family will be moved back in. We'll build it. Maybe you'll come back and you'll see it, what the finished product looks like. Yeah.
By the end of the 1970s, more and more people were living here paying very little or no rent. When the port started to exceed its capacity in the 1970s, they built and opened Lam Chabang port in Chonburi in 1983, leaving many people around here out of work. So this area gained a pretty bad reputation as Bangkok's biggest slum, with crime, drugs, antisocial behaviour and mafia activities making it a no-go zone. One solution put forward was to completely redevelop the area, but this would give the Port Authority of Thailand a huge headache. You can't just evict almost 100,000 residents.
Hello, my friend.
Hello. How are you? One interesting argument is that when the capital of Siam was moved from Ayutthaya to Bangkok around 250 years ago, it was the king who owned all the land and he would grant it and gift it for use. Many of today's streets and neighbourhoods started out that way. So the Port Authority of Thailand doesn't own the land in the sense that they paid big money for it. Do you know what I'm saying? 3 years after land ownership laws were written in 1954, the Port Authority of Thailand moved 100 households away from the area where they built Khlong Toei market. They relocated these residents to other parts of suburban Bangkok, but these residents had trouble settling in and finding work, so they returned to Khlong Toei. So these ongoing redevelopment plans include tower blocks to house residents displaced from these communities around here. And there's also plans to move some of the residents to the Nong Chok area of Bangkok. That's on the far eastern edge of the city, out near Minbury. Other options could include a one-off cash payment. Now, of course, the Port Authority of Thailand will shoulder great expense doing all this, but the commercial value of the land will, of course, be equally as lucrative. I think these developments are at least 5 or 6 or even 10 years away.
This is the house of Lung Dam, so Uncle Dam. His house used to be here, but it completely collapsed many years ago. There was no money to rebuild it, so the house was taken away, and Lung Dam actually started living in a house next door, which he receives help from the local school, so they pay the rent. Of course, he wants to have a house. He's taking care of 4 of his grandchildren. So when we met him, of course, we listened to his stories, we saw the kids, and we felt, okay, especially these kids need a home for themselves, where they can grow, where they can study and become, adults, right? So the house is actually for them. In the future, the house will be in their name, so they will have a head start in life, and that's why we decided to build a house for them. This house actually, I raised money personally for my birthday. So this year, I'm not asking you for any gifts for my birthday. Every year I have my birthday, I decided to build a house for a family. The only thing I ask you for is to give your support to build a new house for him and the kids. So I asked my friends and associates to help fund this house, and well, my birthday is next month and the house is here now, so it's amazing.
pretty grim.
It is, yeah. A lot of the people do not own these little shacks. They actually are subleased. So you'll see in one little small area, 20 people or so that are living, you know, which is very dangerous, if, of course, with the fire, because those are where the nightmare stories come,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
When we were walking in through the canal, through the tunnel, you saw that how dark it was,
Yeah.
right? And there's houses, little, I say houses, they're not houses, just rooms that are
Made of
being-
like wood.
made out of
pieces
wood that are being subleased for around 2,000 baht a month.
As much as that.
Yeah. There's just not a lot of housing in this area, you know, because Khlong Toei is kind of unique. It is the richest area and it's the poorest area, right? So it's the most unique district in all of Thailand where you get the contrast, right? So when you got the most richest population, it's very hard to find something for rent for 2,000 baht a month, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's right.
but then, you know, maybe 10 people will live in there or 20 people. So it's not so much, right? But they're right on top of each other.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as long as you've got people living like this here in 2023, then the third world tag will always remain. Sorry to break the news. This is a blot on the landscape, the kind of thing that overshadows all those flashy shopping malls. I mean, you can pretend as much as you want that Bangkok is becoming the next Singapore. It's not. That's not how it works. The disparity in wealth is none more obvious than in a place like Khlong Toei, where you've got vast wealth and affluency at one end and grinding poverty at the other. And anyway, Singapore is far from perfect. So we're on the banks of the Khlong Toei canal, and I've bumped into 11 Fingers, also known as Book. What are you doing here? You're shooting a music video.
Yeah, today I shooting music video. I have new song. Its name Burn Down All Village. People in slum area want to have a home, have the money, have a work, but government don't care people in slum area. Yeah, I want to make music and go around Bangkok, go around this country. Yeah. People in society can listen. It's a real topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This song is about the smart city project, right? That they have for this area.
We want to change it, but governments or candidates is not come to slum area. Don't have to people to come slum area.
You've got a Netflix
Yeah.
video
Okay.
out. Do you want to promote that?
Okay. Yeah. I can promote. I have documentary on Netflix. Its name's School Talking. Yeah. It's documentary is special history in Khlong Toei. Yeah. You can search now. Yeah. In Netflix.
I'll leave a link to that. And you're on YouTube as well?
Yeah. My YouTube's name 11 Finger Make Music Protest to Government. Story in Khlong Toei. Yeah. I want to make music for people in slum area. Yeah. People don't know story in Khlong Toei. Yeah. You can listen my music.
Please do. I'll leave lots of links in the description. Well, look, it's really nice to meet you.
Thank you so much.
And,
nice to meet you.
Good luck with the music video.
Yeah. Have a
And
good day, bro.
if you need somebody, maybe I can star in the video.
Yeah, thank you
I'm
so
just
much.
kidding, of course. So Friso, we've been walking around here,
Yeah.
and everyone knows you.
Yeah. Well, we come here a lot. So yeah, we're here a lot.
Yeah, the kids,
We're here a lot.
everyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is. So this is flats 1 to 10 projects.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about this area.
Yeah, so this is the Khlong Toei lower income housing communities, that's what they call them, built here to basically house people that were previously living in the slum communities. There are 29 flats. This is 1 to 10. And as you can see, I mean, in my eyes, a very beautiful place, but yeah, it's iconic. Very much in decay, unfortunately. But you see, like when we walked around, there are some efforts to improve this area also a little bit. Yeah, there was a huge fire, chemical fire here in 1991, which has a big story behind it. But that was basically when one of the flats exploded. A lot of people were evacuated that time, were not able to come back, and later they anyway found their way back. Conditions obviously not that good.
Yeah.
A lot of elderly that are stuck on the 3rd and 4th floors. There are no elevators here. So we had a case of an emergency not that long ago. We have our ambulance service as well, and we literally had to carry the old woman down the stairs. So a lot of people, some elderly, have been here years without ever leaving their homes. So this is very, very sad, yeah.
Yeah. So tucked away at the back of the housing project is the local boxing gym where I've just seen some of the world champions doing some light training. Round the corner from that is one of the most photographed canal communities probably in the whole of Thailand. If you've ever done a Google search for Bangkok slum, then the chances are quite a few of the images would have been taken here, and some of those images sell for quite a lot of money on websites like Shutterstock or Adobe Stock. People want to see the worst and they're willing to pay for it, obviously. And yeah, it's pretty bad here. This is the Khlong Samakki community. They occupy about 2 kilometres of the canal bank here along the Khlong Toey. And this community dates back about 40 years. People have been born and grown up here or spent most of their lives around here. And it's no secret that their waste facilities are somewhat lacking. The sewage goes directly into the water. Garbage gets tossed straight over the edge. I think that's down to a lack of basic facilities and basic education. Anyway, let's have a look around here. These canal communities live in very close proximity to the hundreds of monitor lizards in here. Luckily, these reptiles are not really interested in humans, but if you hang around here in the same spot long enough, you'll soon realise just how many there are in here. Well, times have certainly changed around here since its dark days as a lawless slum. There are many NGOs doing great things in this area, and their work certainly doesn't go unappreciated. But the shadow of redevelopment will always hang over this neighbourhood.
Welcome.
Okay, this is nice.
This is incredible difference between the house that I showed you on the pictures, right?
Yeah.
And now there's 2 floors. Before it was only 1 floor.
We saw the horrible conditions they were living in. No running water, no electricity, holes in the roof. Every night when it rained, everything would be wet. So if you live in a situation like that, you cannot think about your future. You're basically thinking about, is it going to rain tonight? You know what I mean? So that's why we went in and we took everything down. This is an 11-meter wide house, 2 floors. And soon everybody will come back. Actually, this weekend we will give them the house, so this will be a very nice day. After all the work we did, I mean, of course, it's a big project. It takes some time. But we're very, very happy that we can give the kids and the family a safe home to grow in.
Hello.
Okay. So this cost normally 2,300 baht.
It was on a little bit of a discount.
And today it was on discount. So we have, so this is actually Thai Indian family that sponsor this every month. So they take care of Khlong Toei basically. So again, as the foundation, we connect people that need help, like Khlong Toei and her family, and people outside that want to help but maybe don't know why or don't know where or don't know what to do, right? Yeah. So with a little support, we can make sure their life becomes a little bit easier.
Good morning. Karn.
Okay.
This is a 76-year-old woman that's paralyzed. She takes care of the baby since she was 6 years old. Now she's 2 and a half.
So this is a good example of a situation here in Khlong Toei and also a family that we help. So here you see the grandmother is taking care of their 2 grandchildren. Fortunately, the mother and the father of the children has disappeared. Now, grandmother receives 2 types of income. One is her government pension, which is 800 baht a month. This is the state pension for elderly. And then she also receives money because she's disabled. It's 700 baht. That's 1,500 in total. To rent this house costs 1,500 baht. So the money is already gone. Now she needs to take care of these children as well. So you see how hard it can be for people here. You can see the living conditions. They've been living here for years. And grandmother's dream is that they have their own house. And they do have a land just a little bit down the road. So we committed to build them a house to make sure that that little kid, Nong Khana, has a house in her name in the future. So that's why we do it.
So when I mentioned earlier on about heroes, it's these type of guys. You guys are absolute heroes, you know. And I'll leave links in the description to ways you can get in touch, volunteer, donate, of course. That would be absolutely
Because you're part of the
appreciated.
team. If
Yeah.
you're don't, you know,
Right.
you're sitting in Germany, or you're sitting in the United States, or you're sitting in Canada, Italy, New Zealand, you're able to be part of the team.
Yes. You
Yeah.
can help.
Just donate.
Yeah.
You can help.
Can help and be the actual hero, you know what I mean? It's like we are sort of the face, like Greg mentioned, but there's so many people behind us, which we're so grateful for as well. Thousands of people that have supported us through these years. So that's really what it all is about, right? It's this community. We're Bangkok Community Help. We help the community, but we're also community, and we invite you to come and join us because you're more than welcome.
Yeah, incredible story. Thanks, guys.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for having
Thanks,
us.
guys.
It was really
Thank
fun.
you.
So there it is. That's our look around the slums and the communities here in Khlong Toei. I hope you found it interesting. Hope you enjoyed it. Do check out my other Khlong Toei video, which is more of my usual exploring and interesting history of the whole area. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Like, share, leave a comment. If you want to support me and support the channel, you can buy me a coffee using the link on the screen or down below. There's also links to Ko-fi and PayPal in the description. That just leaves me to say thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.